Good evening, gamers and gentlefolk. Hello, and welcome back to another broadcast of the Nexus Gaming Series. I'm going to be your host for the evening, The Sound, and I'm excited to bring a Division B match tonight. We are going to be seeing Brickhouse facing off against Came From Behind. This is a matchup between two teams that have existed for some time now. It's going to be a best-of-3 series, and we are going to see the roster core that's been together since Season 11 of Brickhouse taking on Came From Behind, who are one of the two teams in NGS representing Rage Esports. They also participated last season under the name Shut Up and Rage, so no surprise there. They're not completely new. Let's take a look at the standings to see where we're at thus far in the division. We've got Came From Behind in the lead. They are off to a commanding start. Of course, it's still very early in the season. No reason to think that other teams won't potentially catch up. And Brickhouse still looking for their first match win. Taking a look at our battlegrounds for this series, we had Brickhouse win the coin toss and opt for map pick rather than first pick, with map bans on Dragonshire and Garden of Terror for Came From Behind, with Brickhouse banning Tomb of the Spider Queen and Braxis Holdout. Volskaya will be our first battleground of the evening in our best of 3. It's a battleground known for going late, one that can favor stacking heroes. Your Zul'jins are most likely to show up on Volskaya Foundry, so I'll be interested to see if either team ends up showing one of these less common heroes that features well on this map. And welcome in to all those stopping by to cheer on these teams. Be sure to let everyone know who you are hoping to claim victory here in the series. I know that both of these teams, when they look back at the VOD, will enjoy to see those cheers. So let them know who's excited. A little bit more background on these teams. Brickhouse started, as mentioned, back in Season 11, forming around the roster core of Tater, Zesty, and Shyborg. Looks like we have all 3 of them with us this evening. So they have been together since way back in the day, and Came From Behind have also been together for quite some time, though their roster has been a lot less stable. They formed up back in Season 12 as the team Mean Old Men. And since then, of course, they've had people join and leave, and it's a long time. You know, Season 12, I think, was 3 years ago now, which just speaks to the longevity of our wonderful little league. I'll just let everyone know in the lobby that we are ready out here in TV land. Speaking of the history of these teams, Brickhouse started back in Division D when they were first formed in Season 11 and have done a fair bit of climbing since. They made it all the way to the peak of Division A last season. The season did not go particularly smoothly for them, unfortunately. But that's all right. I've had plenty of seasons that did not go well either. And I think they are likely to find more success here in Div B. It is a very competitive division, speaking as a player on one of the Div B teams. We've certainly been finding it to be a challenging div, so it's pretty exciting to get to cast these two teams that I've personally had the chance to face off against. Both strong competitors and well suited to the competition. Checking in with our lobby. We've got readies from some, but not all, so we should be started shortly. But it looks like we should be going here any second into Draft 1 for Game 1 on Volskaya Foundry. Let's get into it. All right. So, as I had begun to talk a little bit about Volskaya Foundry, the nature of the objective being a vehicle means that heroes that can stack on the Protector, your Zuljins, your Guldans sometimes, can be favored. It is also a map that tends to go late, so scaling can definitely come in clutch in those late game team fights. Auto attack Vala, another viable option for a stacking hero. And at this point in the season, there's been enough shown across the past 3 series that these bans are probably specifically tailored to the teams. I would be surprised if Came From Behind or Brickhouse did not do their homework here. We can see those bans onto Brightwing and Hogger from Came From Behind, and Anubarak or Brickhouse. Came From Behind with the opportunity for first pick. I'll be interested to see, there's the Alarak ban. Definitely a target onto Came From Behind's hero pool, and they're going to prio the Rhaegar. Rhaegar is one of their most played heroes thus far this season. So I'm not surprised to see them snap it up here in the first slot. He is a powerful healer, scales well into the late game with Farseer's Blessing at 20. Brickhouse will answer back with the Sylvanas. Sylvanas great for the Battleground, as well as Yrel. Okay. Sylvanas is great on the Battleground, both for her ability to split push, if that is the flavor that a team cares to do on this Battleground with a relatively weak objective, but she can also tech pick into Mercenary Queen at level 4, which amps up all of the turrets that are selectable and grabbable throughout the game. All right, Vala and ETC, the response came from behind. So Vala, one of those classic stacking heroes that we were highlighting earlier. We'll see if Top Gun opts for an auto attack or other build. With an ETC on the front line, I'm not sure if that's going to be an off lane or main tank ETC, but they offer a fair bit of peel, and then Rhaegar, of course, brings the cleanse. So Vala does have some amount of support behind her already, so an auto attack build might be the best here as they look to scale into the late game. Brickhouse taking care of the Leoric ban there, came from behind, responding with Mephisto. Both late game scaling monsters with... Okay, Diablo, cool.
Hell, it's about
And Tychus, a great pair of heroes to grab together, given that Tychus is a frequent pick against Diablo, so being able to pick it with the Diablo kind of protects that meaty health pool from the minigun damage. Alright, last two picks, we've got Beachy Man on Imperius and Malthael. Okay, so a triple frontline comp for Came From Behind. I would expect that is going to route the Vala, alright, White Mane, towards a auto attack build with a beefy front line standing in front of her. Let's take a look at these two comps for game one. We've got the triple melee, quadruple melee really, on the side of Came From Behind. Rhaegar also a melee hero into Tychus, Sylvanas range. If White Mane for Brickhouse is able to position safely, there isn't a lot of ranged engage from Came From Behind. So if White Mane is allowed to pump healing, that is going to be a tough comp to get through and kill. Diablo and Yrel both very sturdy, but of course the percent damage from Malthael will help take care of that. So that was a pretty heads-up grab from Came From Behind. We'll see how it works out between these two teams as we get into game one and introduce our teams. Here on the left, in blue, we've got Brickhouse. Tater playing Sylvanas, Shyborg on Tychus, Little Soul on Diablo, Zesty on White Mane, and Baron playing Yrel. And to the right, we've got Came From Behind. Huckett on Rhaegar, Beachy Man playing ETC, Mr. Hustler on Vala, Mojo on Malthael, and Top Gun playing Imperius. As we get into our first wave of the game, we can take a look at our level 1 talents. I am unfamiliar with White Mane. Pity the Frail is the selection. Okay. And it is that auto attack build for Vala, speccing into Creed the Hunter at level 1. So we'll keep track of how long those, or how high those stacks go. An early wave clear advantage going over to Brickhouse here. They, of course, are able to get a little bit of an advantage just due to the range that they bring. Top Gun looking for the spear onto Little Soul, but they're able to dodge out. We'll see if this early lane priority is going to help Brickhouse avoid the Vala damage, keep those stacks to a minimum. Top Gun doing a great job getting around on these flanks, but Little Soul is definitely making those heads-up plays, sidestepping when needed. 1 minute on the timer means that our camps are up, and so Brickhouse immediately gets on to their turret. You can see Came From Behind mirroring on the right side with Huckett and Mojo taking care of that. Checking in on top, Little Soul unable to make it out alive. Mr. Hustler, Top Gun, and Beachy Man are able to lock in first blood for Came From Behind. And that's going to send them straight to the healing camp. Top Gun spearing in onto Tater here. There's the slow and another stun, but Mr. Hustler is going to fall. Vala unable to catch up to the front line there. Shyborg chases down the kill, and Baron is able to save the Tychus. Excellent play from the Yrel there, getting that rotation in. Malthael still down in bot lane there. So a first kill going over to Came From Behind, but Shyborg getting a very important kill there onto the Vala. Creed the Hunter is not just a quest talent, but also a gambit talent. So every death there will cost them a bit of attack speed. Level 4s are online now. We've got Imperius going for percent damage at level 1 and Battle Hunger at level 4, which increases the healing off of the brand. White main talents. Let's talk about them. Martyrdom. All right, Desperate Please. Healing is increased. That's exciting. We've got early camp priority from Came From Behind here, and a trap in the bush. But it looks like Brickhouse are onto it. Nope, Little Soul's looking to make the rotation. Surprised that we didn't see Beachy Man get onto him there. And that is the first objective point unlocking and available for contest. We'll see if Tater and team stick around. They have opted for Mercenary Queen at level 4. Mojo, thinking about that objective, but understanding that Brickhouse had dropped vision, they're not going to risk it, as they are alone and hold their team's item. An important one. Checking back in on top lane, it looks like we've got Came From Behind continuing to push. They've gotten through most of this front wall now. The advantage of a stacking comp like an auto attack Vala. Oh, well, there goes Little Soul there. Diablo falling low again. Second kill for Came From Behind. The advantage of these stacking comps is they kind of demand a response. Auto attack Vala can get a lot of siege done if unresponded to. But of course, if you meet that team in lane, then it just gives the Vala opportunities to stack. It's kind of a bit of a catch-22 that Came From Behind are very comfortable putting teams in. Level 7s on both sides. We've got Relentless Soldier for Shyborg, looking to protect themselves from all of the CC that Came From Behind is bringing, as well as a Eternal Flames Flame Stomp build for Diablo. Overtime is triggered by Came From Behind. They are able to get onto the objective before the channel is complete. And a little bit ahead on XP here in the race to Heroics. Looks like that is thanks to their minion XP and hero XP deficit. Turret back up for Came From Behind, so they're going to get onto it, which is giving Brickhouse the opportunity to get an early start on the healing camp. Little Soul dodges the spear from Top Gun, and Baron is able to dodge and knock everyone else away. That mercenary camp gives a lot of XP, so it will unlock heroics for Brickhouse a little bit before Came From Behind. It looks like they do get heroics before the objective finishes, but not before they're able to contest there. So First Protector going over to Brickhouse. Not a bad start. Of course, Mr. Hustler isn't too upset with this outcome because it gives them ample opportunities to stack. There's the Bloodlust from Huckett. They're looking for Little Soul here and trying to put a lot of damage onto the Protector as well. A little bit of a split engagement there. And there is the first completed stack of Creed the Hunter. That's going to be 50 stacks. Oh, 100. That's the second one already. All right, so Mr. Hustler doing a great job keeping up on those stacks. Beachy Man looks for the mosh, doesn't land it onto anyone, silenced by Tater immediately. Lightning Breath onto all 5, but it without the rest of Brickhouse out of the protector, they're not going to be able to secure any kills. So heroics flying on both sides. We do still have Whitemane and Urel's heroic available. Tychus has opted for Draken Laser Drill at level 10. So that in combination with their bigger they are pickup at level 4 leads me to believe that they are going to value that minigun damage over the safe Odin Siege. Can't say I blame them into a triple frontline comp such as came from behinds. BG Man doing such a good job to anchor this rotation. Little Soul very healthy at full souls. Let's see if they get enough healing from Zesty. They're falling low. There's the Draken Laser Drill. Top Gun falls low and has to use the heroic. Shyborg dashes in here, and there's the ult from Rhaegar. Baron in the middle of all 5. A spear in, catches 2, and that's the kill onto Urel, followed up by Diablo. Urel unable to pop her heroic. Zesty putting a lot of healing on themselves, but unable to get through to the end. A triple kill in favor of Came From Behind. It looked pretty sketchy there once Baron got the jump in on Came From Behind, but they're able to turn it with the Rhaegar heroic. Top Gun drawing a lot of damage from top fort before Shyborg has to back off there. Level 13's now online for Came From Behind. We've got Tidal Waves Encore from BG Man looking to get cooldown reduction on their heroic. More moshes is more better, after all. As well as Tempered by Discipline for Vala. So not as concerned about spell damage as they are about getting all of the healing that they can from their auto attacks. Level 13's now online for Brickhouse as well. This is a big power spike for Little Soul on the Diablo, getting spell power with each of their flame stomps. Of course, Mr. Hustler is doing a lot of damage here on the front line. Love to see how aggressive we're getting this Vala play to be. I don't know if Baron has been scouted. They're over the wall. A huge silence lands onto 4, but Little Soul is going to die. That's a huge mosh, catching 3. Baron remains on point, but it's a 4-hero wipe. 4 Came From Behind. Massive mosh from BG Man, doing a great job to clean that up for the team after a quick kill onto Diablo there. Control point B will unlock as Came From Behind take out their first structure of the game. Top fort going down will give them advantage on this next objective point, but if I had to guess, they're not too concerned about getting on to the objective just yet. They're likely to be pleased with pushing with a double stacked wave and an auto attack Vala. They have a lot of siege damage at their back here. Level 16 is now online, a 2-level lead for Came From Behind. And this is a big power spike for Mr. Hustler. They've already been doing a great job putting a lot of threat onto the front line of Brickhouse, but with Manticore behind them now, they're definitely able to shred through the front line all the more readily. Percent damage on every 3rd auto attack. Looks like we've got Came From Behind happy to tool up and continue their strategy of running at structures rather than playing for objectives, recognizing that the objective is not very powerful until much later in the game. It needs a lot of time to scale up before it can get much done. Of course, their commitment to bot lane is going to give Brickhouse the opportunity to push here in top with Sylvanas, Black Arrows, and a amped up siege camp. With that said, Brickhouse is a little bit slower. Came From Behind were able to get onto the fort a little bit faster, so they're already onto the bottom keep. They're able to get the fort in top lane, but not before over half of the fort goes down here. Baron will boop everyone back, but Mr. Hustler is able to continue the auto attack pressure and take down the first keep of the game. Mojo falling very low here. Shyborg looking for the kill. they're close, but Diablo is offering a lot of healing opportunities here. Are they able to get the trade? Yeah, Malthael trading 1 for 1 there. And there goes Little Soul again on the Diablo. So if you are Mojo, I have to assume you call worth on that. Really well played by Malthael to trade out there. It is tough for Diablo to gank a Malthael just because of how much healing his health pool offers to the lifesteal of Diablo or Malthael. Different enemy from the Diablo franchise. Alright, Silence lands onto 2, and there goes the Bloodlust. Baron looking for a boop in, but looks like without the Tychus in range, it is difficult for Brickhouse to put a lot of pressure onto Came From Behind. There's the slide, but this time Baron is able to get off the Ardent Defender. Little Soul gets the stun here onto Imperius. There are heroics flying on both sides. Beachy Man falling low, the armor reduction, a big damage amplification for the whole team, but it looks like Came From Behind will make it out alive without too much trouble there. Little Soul continuing the fight. They're getting a lot of healing from W build there, and there is a full spell power Lightning Breath. Beachy Man gets the stun and Mosh onto 1. They're falling very low. Little Soul gets the kill. Baron on the top side being chased down by Mojo. They won't get the kill there. And now Mojo's the target, of course, on the bot side of the fight. Mr. Hustler was able to clean up another kill onto Tychus. Little Soul trying to escape here. Zesty pops the trait, but they aren't able to get out in time. So giving themselves that armor shred is going to be their undoing. Storm Talent's just around the corner from Came From Behind. They're going to grab as much of the Mercenary and Minion XP as they can, and there it is, securing the Storm Talent tier. It is Gladiator's War Shout, the Bloodlust upgrade for Huckett, Death Mosh for the ETC. Ah, okay. Storm of Vengeance for Vala. I would have expected Farflight Quiver as the way to kind of round out the auto attack build. No one can stop death from Malthael, and Brandis Solarian at level 20 for Top Gun. A big damage amplification for the Imperius player. Came From Behind, still a level and a half ahead of Brickhouse. Are happy to sit in front of this keep, kind of daring Brickhouse to engage onto them. Mr. Hustler falling very low. Gladiator's War Shout used just for the disengage there. Not exactly how you'd like to use the Bloodlust upgrade. And almost another kill onto the Vala there. Yeah, they've only died once so far. So Brickhouse would have been happy to pick up another kill there. Shyborg trying to chase down Mojo, but there's Mr. Hustler, and the collapse from the rest that Came From Behind. Amash lands onto 2, both frontliners caught, and Zesty walking into the Mosh as well. They're falling very low, and their heroic will not save them. The Storm Talent tier a little too strong for Came From Behind. Little Soul has come back thanks to the Black Soulstone trait, but it's going to be a classic Diablo dieback. Shyborg, now the target of Top Gun. Came From Behind are able to use their latest turret to take out this top keep. And with Death Timer still about 30 seconds out for 2 out of the 3 dead members from Brickhouse, I expect we'll have Came From Behind take it here in Game 1. They did a great job playing their mainly melee comp. Mr. Hustler was well taken care of and played the Vala as aggressively as you would need to. Tater unlikely to survive this onslaught, looking for one more kill there in the end, and Came From Behind are able to secure the victory. GG, well played. A really strong showing in game one from Came From Behind. It's not too hard to imagine why they are in first place on the standings in this season. They look very comfortable on Volskaya Foundry with the auto attack Vala all melee comp. I was surprised to see Bloodlust from Rhaegar, but it definitely worked out in their favor. So let's take a look at the stats and builds here. Highlighting it once again, it was a Bloodlust Rhaegar Huckett playing the Gladiator very aggressively, very well. And of course, when I think about how they were just kind of stacking attack speed, it is not as surprising to see the what is this talent called? Storm of Vengeance at level 20 from Mr. Hustler. Their lifesteal, thanks to their level 13 Tempered by Discipline, in addition to the lifesteal from Huckett's Bloodlust, would likely make them pretty unkillable as long as they're not CC'd. Diablo and Yrel don't have the most lockdown without APOC. So a very interesting strat, one that worked out really well for Came From Behind, and we can see that in the stats here. Mr. Hustler able to rack up 86,000 hero damage. Absolutely massive. And there you have it, our game number 1 in the history books. Very well played by our away team. Of course, Brickhouse did have some moments of success. Tater's Wailing Arrows were quite strong. There were a couple times where they just barely missed Huckett, which I think if they had managed to get that silence onto the Rhaegar, that would have been a big advantage for the team fight outcomes. Alright, it looks like we do have our next lobby, and we are headed to Battlefield of Eternity as selected by Rage. Nope, that's what they were called last season. Came From Behind. There you have it. Another great battleground for Vala. So we'll see if Brickhouse allow it through the draft one more time. Mr. Hustler looked very strong on the hero in game 1. I'd be surprised to see it make it through. Of course, Brickhouse did sniff out that Came From Behind also have an Alarak player. We saw that ban in the first rotation of game 1. Alarak, a pretty strong pick for the battleground, thanks to the telekinesis. Able to reposition people into the immortal stuns. So we'll see if they continue to prioritize the Anub ban as well, or if it doesn't turn into a Vala ban instead. Looking on the other side, Came From Behind had banned out Brightwing and Hogger. So I think both still pretty good for the battleground. Brightwing maybe not as important, but also one of the safest healing picks. So we could very well see it. All right, we are getting started in our next draft. So let's head over there. So we will see shortly how much of a problem Brickhouse felt that Mr. Hustler's Vala was. Of course, worth mentioning that Brickhouse also favor Vala themselves, so they may not look to ban it in this 1-2 rotation. They will in fact ban the Vala. Not a bad adaptation. They could have looked to take it away. They have played a fair bit of Vala themselves this season, so I wouldn't have been too surprised to see that approach to the bans and picks. There's another Hogger ban for Came From Behind. They do not like the hero. I guess they do not play the hero. They definitely seem to favor that Hogger ban this season. Second ban here from Brickhouse. We may see another one of those Alarak bans. And it's going to be the Rhaegar instead. Alright, so 2 target bans based on last game's draft. Puckett was very proficient. Same 2 bans from Came From Behind. First pick now, Brickhouse opted for it rather than map pick this time round. So we'll see what their priority pick is for the battleground. I'll be interested to see if they don't try and pick something away from Came From Behind. Going to be a Li Ming first pick. Okay. Li Ming bringing a fair bit of poke to the objective. One of her better battlegrounds in that regard. She doesn't often have to fight in minion waves, which can be difficult to get her spells on target. Hanzo still available, another great poke hero. Tychus Falstad, okay. So both damage dealers, or I should say 2 damage dealers. They could go triple range for all I know. 2 damage dealers picked up here in this first rotation, percent damage, and a global as well on Battlefield Eternity. Some teams don't favor having a global on a map as small as BOE, but it does give opportunities for some side soaking and stalling. Stukov and Johanna the response. Johanna, one of the stronger tanks in the meta right now. Of course, that's at least partially due to her bringing wave clear to a composition, which isn't as important on 2-lane map. That is not as rotation heavy as BOE, but she's still a very sturdy presence, brings a blind for the Tychus minigun. There's Zul'jin ban from CFB. Definitely trying to slow down the potential immortal burn options of Brickhouse. And it's going to be the Anubarak ban. So they are still able to get the Anub ban that they got in the first rotation of last draft. I'm guessing Came From Behind have had a great deal of success on it thus far this season. And it is a target. Ooh. Alright, Garrosh pickup for Came From Behind. Garrosh also able to reposition heroes into the immortal stuns. Furion brings follow-up CC in the form of the Root. So a fair bit of lockdown from Came From Behind. Of course, they don't really have too much of a burst save. And Li Ming definitely brings that burst damage. Tassadar. So a double mage, double poke kind of setup from Brickhouse here. Off-lane selection likely. Going to be Deathwing. Okay. The response to the CC heavy front line of Came From Behind is the permanently unstoppable Aspect of Death. Last pick here, likely to be an offlaner, a secondary front line. We could, of course, see Falstad offlane, technically, though that has kind of fallen out of favor in this day and age. It's going to be Sonya instead. Alrighty. Very cool. So let's take a look at these drafts as we get into game number 2. Okie doke. Li Ming, Stukov, Joe, Tass, Deathwing. So they do have a lot of blow-up potential here from Brickhouse, and Came From Behind do not have a reliable burst save with Malfurion as their healer. Of course, Garrosh with Into the Fray will have opportunities to cleanse and reposition his allies, but I think Brickhouse have enough damage and blow-up potential just to pick on the Garrosh player themselves. Of course, Beachy Man on Sonya will be able to look for those flanks onto the back line. It might be tough for the blue team. We'll see how it goes as we get into game number 2 here. And introducing our teams here on the left in blue, we've got Brickhouse, Zesty on Stukov, Little Soul on Johanna, Shyborg on Tassadar, Merovingian on Li Ming, and Dizzy Wingman playing Deathwing. To the right in red, we've got Came From Behind, Mojo on Tychus, Huckett on Malfurion, Mr. Hustler playing Garrosh, Top Gun on Falstad, and Beachy Man playing Sonya. Looks like we've got a pretty classic 4-1 split. Mr. Hustler using the Into the Fray pretty early there. I guess not too worried about having the cleanse this early in the game. Our level 1 talents, we've got Top Gun going for Gathering Storm at level 1, an E-build from Stukov, picking up Low Blow. Mr. Hustler gets the far flank. Mojo the target here, and Shyborg gets rooted, so CC going on a couple different members. Brickhouse able to make it out without too much muss or fuss. Deathwing has opted for Draconic Might at level 1. So they're going to heal off of auto attacks, and Mr. Hustler has once again taken up position in that bush. Would love to see Brickhouse try and control that vision a little bit better. Little Soul falling low here, and the root at the gate is going to get a lot done. Mr. Hustler tanking towers here, takes a lot of damage from Merovingian. Mojo gets the minigun onto Merovingian now. Little Soul getting some CC out onto Came From Behind. And Came From Behind really doing a great job to play this bottom bush very aggressively. Wave clear advantage means that Brickhouse could look at this bottom camp. Little Soul is also in position to prevent Mr. Hustler from getting too much done against their team there. Johanna not as afraid of the War Chief as the rest of her allies. Mr. Hustler doing a great job just to zone, taking up all of the space here in this bottom corridor and giving Came From Behind the opportunity to get onto this Khazra camp. We'll see if Brickhouse opt to step in here or maybe even send someone up to the top lane to start up the reciprocal camp. Doesn't look like it. Little Soul walks into the root, already used the Iron Skin, so they're going to fall low. Dizzy Wingman does drop in, but it's not before the kill is secured. First blood going over to Came From Behind, and level 4s in both teams' hands. Beachy Man, left unattended in top lane, will get onto this top Khazra as well. So a fair bit of experience just through mercenaries able to be picked up by Came From Behind. All right, first objective here as it unlocks. We've got level 4s on both sides, about a half-level lead for Came From Behind. Both teams opting to get onto those shaman camps. We'll see how they look to play out this first objective phase. Mr. Hustler taking very aggressive position once again on the defense. So Merovingian is going to get some of the damage in on the sides here, but it looks like Top Gun is uncontested on the bottom Immortal. Mojo and Beachy Man pressuring Little Soul here in bot lane. Dizzy Wingman and friends are getting a little bit more damage onto the Immortal, but it's still pretty heavily in favor of Came From Behind if it's a race. There's the toss in onto Merovingian. Little Soul gets onto Mojo there, but the sleep root from Huckett will get everybody out of danger. Johanna picking up Hold Your Ground at level 4 rather than the Punish quest, Subdue. It's gonna give them a lot more HP to work with on their shield, but it does diminish how much CC they're able to bring. Shyborg falling very low here. Mr. Hustler doing a great job getting onto the Tassadar, and now they've got body blocks onto Little Soul. They don't have Iron Skin. Beachy Man is able to get the flank, and Mojo finishes off the kill. Merovingian falling low. All the while, Top Gun getting all the work done on the Immortal. First objective going over to Came From Behind, and level 7s in their hands. Almost at talent tier parity. Brickhouse will be able to defend with the same talent tier, but it is a lot of shield HP that Came From Behind had to work with, so we'll see how well Brickhouse are able to defend here. Mr. Hustler, definitely a terror on the front line, and this is a little bit of the downside of this double mage composition for Brickhouse. They don't have a consistent auto attack threat to put pressure on Mr. Hustler's HP bar. They're falling low, but they're able to make it out alive after popping the Indomitable, their own Unstoppable that they unlocked at level 4. But the first fort of the game does go in favor of Came From Behind. We've got the rotation down from Dizzy Wingman. There's the fly in. Mojo caught behind the Tassadar wall here, but they're able to get the scoot away. No serious CC on Brickhouse until level 10, and Blessed Shield from Johanna comes online. So Beachy Man, once again, left unattended, is going to get a lot more damage done on the top fort wall. We'll see. It seems like Brickhouse are happy to do a heavy rotation up here. There's the slow onto the Sonya, followed up by the weighted pustule. First kill from Brickhouse right as heroics unlock from Came From Behind. We've got Leap, Odin, Mighty Gust, Warlord's Challenge, and Tranquility for the side of Came From Behind. It is still a level away for Brickhouse before they unlock heroics of their own. Mr. Hustler's looking for a toss in onto Little Soul. They do still have the Iron Skin available to them. Mr. Hustler pops the taunt. There's the root and sleep onto Zesty. They're not going to survive this one. Top Gun gusts to secure the kill. And that's kind of the advantage of getting your heroics early. You're able to force engagements. What looked kind of sketchy there, Mr. Hustler taking a lot of damage, turns in Came From Behind's favor thanks to additional CC through the taunt and gust from Mr. Hustler and Top Gun. Odin gives Came From Behind an opportunity to get some free siege onto the top fort, do as much as they can to get the health. Okay, another toss in, followed up by the Blessed Shield. There's the taunt. Mojo falls low and dies. That's a reset for Merovingian, but they're unable to secure another kill. So a 1-for-1 trade after the aggressive use of Into the Fray by Huckett. Checking in on heroics from Brickhouse, we've got Flailing Swipes, Blessed Shield, Black Hole, Disintegrate, and Bellowing Roar from Dizzy Wingman. All right. A little bit of a macro advantage from Brickhouse with that bottom lane getting pushed out by the Shaman camp, but that's giving Came From Behind lots of time uncontested on this top Immortal. It will be a free halftime show in their favor. there's the taunt onto the Stukov. Zesty caught there, followed it up. I have to assume that was a misclick. But they almost made it out. Dizzy Wingman doing a great job trying to zone here. The blind from Little Soul will protect Dizzy Wingman from Mojo. Man, Mr. Hustler on the Garrosh, not afraid to reposition any of his allies or the enemy team. Really strong showing. And to think they were playing Vala last game, lots of flexibility from this player. Definitely one to look out for as the season progresses. So it's going to be a full HP Immortal, a full shield Immortal going over to Came from behind as they set up for this next push. They've unlocked the level 13 talent tier, and that has given Flood Craze from Garrosh, Huckett able to, or I'm sorry, Mr. Hustler able to stay in a little bit longer thanks to the additional healing. Huckett gets tossed in again, takes a lot of damage there. I'm not sure if these aggressive tosses are necessarily always going to work out. We've seen some of them to put allies in range when they have CC available. Dizzy Wingman looking for a flank here, but there's still a talent tier down, and there is still 50% of the shield HP left on this Immortal. Little Soul doing a decent job to buy space for their long-range damage dealers, but it is challenging to keep safe from Mr. Hustler there. Tassadar Wall will keep Mr. Hustler in range. Little Soul tossed in, and there's the taunt. The Silence Puddle from Zesty gets Little Soul a little bit farther, but Mojo is able to take them down in the end. Big slows from Dizzy Wingman, catches two. Huckett thrown back in. There's Mr. Hustler. 3 kills going over to Brickhouse. All the while, however, we've had Beachy Man working on the bottom keep. They've gotten through more than half of the HP, so both keeps for Brickhouse have fallen very low. They are on even talent tier with Came from behind. Those kills giving them a lot of comeback XP here. Yeah, they are now neck and neck with hero kill experience. Level 13 is a big power spike for Zesty on the E-build Stukov. It hungers, giving them the opportunity to get resets on their silencing pool. Tassadar also unlocking a big safety button in the form of Shadow Walk. So Shyborg is going to be able to position a lot more aggressively and then become untargetable from the Garrosh stuff. Merovingian opting for Glass Cannon and Calamity. So this is kind of an aggressive playstyle, really ramping up the damage, but also cutting their survivability as they also look to blink in to secure kills. I'll be interested to see how that works out for them. Level 16's online for him, Came from behind. Mr. Hustler is just going to walk up, toss Little Soul in, gets the taunt onto Johanna. There's the lead follow-up. Zesty's falling low. They get the swipes, but not onto Mojo. They make it out alive. Huckett is low here in the back. Top Gun is the first to fall. So they're able to get the kill after what looked like a lot of threat put onto the Johanna there. Mojo caught by with a stun by Dizzy Wingman. It looks like Came from behind will make it out without further losses, however. Once again, another kill going in favor of Brickhouse at this point in the game is giving them a lot of opportunities to get back into the game from an experience standpoint. Mojo and Huckett on the bot side scouted out by Shyborg and Merovingian. Zesty tossed in, however. They will get the weighted pustule out and get the escape here. Mojo falling low, getting chased down by Little Soul, but it looks like none of the rest of Brickhouse are able to follow up with their damage. Dizzy Wingman, the target of Came from behind here. Huckett will go down first. There's the loop in onto Shyborg. Merovingian shelling away with impunity at range. Mojo eats all of those Qs and followed up by a Tassadar Q. So this scaling comp seems to be favoring Brickhouse, doing a great job there to get back in the game, staggering the deaths of Came From Behind. They've almost caught up 8 and 9 on the kill count there. Level 16 has also unlocked Arcane Orbit. There's the toss and taunt. Zesty falling low, gets the silence. Tassadar takes out the Garrosh. Sonya low on the top side here, but they will make it out alive. Once again, thought Zesty was going to go down after becoming the target of Mr. Hustler, but in the end, it was the other way around. So a great job once again by Brickhouse to get ahead of the game here. They're also doing a great job tagging this bruiser camp before the objective goes down, but the catapult pressure and split push of Sonya will secure the top keep. So it came at a cost, but it is the first time in a while that Brickhouse has been in the lead here. They are ahead of Came From Behind towards their Storm talent tier, and they've got a full Shield Immortal. So there's a lot to work with here for Brickhouse. Little Soul not really respecting the toss in from Mr. Hustler. There's a big Arcane Orbit in from Merovingian. Little Soul still pretty low here, but they will make it out alive. Huckett pops the Tranquility. And the shield HP on the Immortal almost eliminated. They will now step into melee range. But this top fort isn't long for this world, I would expect. Asleep catches Shyborg on Tassadar, but there's the Blessed Shield. Gust from Top Gun will get Mr. Hustler out alive. Checking in on the bot side, Sonya has unlocked percent damage at level 16, and Dizzy Wingman is getting chased down here. I don't think the Deathwing will survive. Beachy Man gets the rotation in from the rest of Brickhouse, but I'll be surprised. Yeah, that's a great leap out. Merovingian unable to secure the kill. So a little bit of a free takedown for Came From Behind as they cap this top siege camp. The Khazra in top paired with the catapults, constant catapult pressure thanks to top keep going down, will require a response from Came From Behind. They're both relatively even on their race to their Storm talent tier. Little Soul tossed in, and Mojo able to chase them down, and that will unlock Storm talents for Came From Behind. Shyborg tries to peel Sonya away with the Black Hole. Beachy Man able to get the sidestep. It's Ariat Crater, Mighty Wind Tunnel, Titanic Might, so Wrecking Ball able to throw 2 heroes now. Tranquility upgrade called Serenity, and oh, interesting, Bob and Weave. So Mojo now has more dashes available to them. On the other side, Storm talents are unlocked. We've got Controlled Chaos from Stukov, Radiating Faith from Johanna, Force Barrier for Tassadar, Palrash's Elements for Li Ming, and Stood in the Fire. So a little bit more CC available thanks to the persisting slow from the ground effect of Dizzy Wingman's Cataclysm. They're headed straight for their own Immortal. Brickhouse would love to get Came From Behind to back up here. They're looking for a kill, but Merovingian unable to connect with those arcane orbs. And so halftime goes over in favor of Came From Behind, and they're happy to wait this out at their Immortal. They've put Brickhouse on a timer thanks to catapult pressure in both lanes. Mr. Hustler gets the toss in, and there's the taunt, lands onto 2. Garrosh goes down. Beachy Man on the flank here, looking for the Ariat Crater kill. Shyborg falling low thanks to a jump in from Top Gun, but Beachy Man misses with the Crater. Top Gun has to gust away to save the Sonya player, and Dizzy Wingman will hearth back to deal with those mounting catapults. We've got Shyborg in bot lane doing the same. 2 catapults on each side. Little Soul, the target of Came From Behind, now that they see the rest of Brickhouse out in lanes. 4v3 here in favor of Came From Behind, and Mojo able to get a lot of long-range poke thanks to the Odin. They're able to get another kill onto Sonya here, so if they're able to stabilize once again, they're looking for Mojo, still 10 seconds away from Blessed Shield. So Zesty is going to be their best chance. Oh my gosh, a root lands on the Shyborg, but they receive the heal. Mojo able to dash away thanks to Bob and Weave. They're level 20. Sonya still 40 seconds or so away from respawn, but Garrosh is back on the field. A catapult has started. Catapult pressure is accumulating in top lane here. Mojo scouted by the rest of Brickhouse. And once again, Came From Behind have the advantage of all of that catapult pressure, all of that lane pressure. I expect Top Gun is looking for another big wind tunnel opportunity here. They've gone unscouted, and so they get this toss onto Zesty. They're falling low. They trade 1-for-1 Shyborg, but there's the kill onto Zesty. Mr. Hustler the target now, but they aren't able to take them out with the Tassadar dead. We've got catapults on the core now for Came From Behind. They just need to stall Johanna from making the Hearth back. Dizzy Wingman as well. Not gonna be able to secure it. Beachy Man gets the kill, and we can check in as 6 catapults, well, one of them is kind of trolling, but many catapults shred apart the core of Brickhouse. Game 2 will go over to the red team once again. Came From Behind, doing a great job in both games to control the tempo of fights. So GG and well played. And there you have it, a 2-game series going in favor of Came From Behind. They did a fantastic job there in both games 1 and 2. In particular, I want to highlight Mr. Hustler's play on the Garrosh. They did a fantastic job repositioning the front line of Brickhouse and using some creative into the fray tosses to get Mojo on Tychus in range. Checking in on our builds, anything out of the ordinary here. Nothing too surprising from me. Bloodcraze, not a talent that I see too often at 13 from Garrosh players. And once again, that Glass Cannon pick at 13 from Merovingian, a bit of a surprise from me. So it looks like I will have an opportunity to get an interview here. So let me get over and start wrangling that in a bit. Looks like we're going to be joined by... Excellent. And let me just get over to our interview scene so everyone can hear you.
Oh, hey. Can you bring Beachy Man in too?
Absolutely.
The interview.
Absolutely. Where is Beachy? There they are. Welcome, welcome. GG and well played. How are y'all feeling?
Thank you. Beachy, you want to
Bump, champ is here.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it.
Our color man.
Excellent, excellent.
That's right.
So the first place team up against the current last place team, how are you guys feeling going into this matchup? Were you thinking this early in the season, perhaps Brickhouse just hasn't shown their full potential? What were your thoughts kind of going into the matchup?
So some guys looked at the standings and I had to tell them to forget about it and just pretend you have no idea if they're good or not. Stay focused. But even with that, the second game, our Garrosh, Mr. Hustler, started throwing us into the opponent team.
I saw that.
Malfurion in 3 times. He was getting a little punchy.
Yeah, I saw that. Some of those toss-ins, I imagine, was to get the slow, and like I saw him toss Mojo in at least once to get them in range to do a little more damage. But those Malfurion tosses did surprise me.
Yeah, so, some of them were strategic, and some of them were to mess with me.
Great. Why not? Beachy, I know that you were playing the Sonya in the second game. How do you feel about the Sonya Deathwing matchup? Is that one that you're familiar with? Or I almost never see offlane Deathwing these days.
I mean, I felt very confident going up against Deathwing. I don't know, there wasn't much that I felt like he did. But somehow he still outsoaked me. But
So the Sonya pick, it was more for
the-
the Li Ming to leap on her, and then happens to be good at 16 with the percent damage.
Definitely.
Yes, which was very great because every time I tried to get close to Ming, I just got swatted away by Stukov. He did a good job that second game, but interrupted a lot of my try to leaps on the back line.
Gotcha. Yeah, I will say Mr. Hustler's ability to kind of take advantage of Little Soul on the front line was pretty impressive. Typically getting the Johanna in range of the damage and out of range of Zesty's flailing swipes. Is that something, like, I mean, this is coming, of course, from a player that can't flex to save their life onto a different role. We saw Mr. Hustler playing the Vala in Game 1. Do you guys have a typical role structure, or is it just kind of a who's feeling what hero, depending on the battleground, depending on the heroes available to you?
Yeah, there's a few roles that people don't play, but most people are up to more than one. And in that first game, you saw we switched everybody right at the last second.
Mhm.
We didn't plan on doing that. It's just we ended up on the wrong heroes based on what they picked. We had to do a switcheroo, and then they really threw us for a loop by subbing in different people in Game 2. I'm still not even sure who we played against. Was it just one that was different? Merovingian for Tater?
Merovingian from Tater, I can't remember if Dizzy Wingman was in Game 1 or not.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
Um,
I don't know who we subbed for. So it made it really hard to ban, and I think we screwed up that last ban. They weren't going to take Soljin. But that's okay.
Sure, absolutely. So, does that mean with this domination, are y'all undefeated this season so far?
No, we lost our first game.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then 6-8 in a row, something like that.
All right, not bad.
Yeah.
Is there any matchup that you haven't played that you are looking forward to for the season?
Yeah, I don't think we played the 2 or 3 team yet. I know we
Okay.
haven't.
Yeah, so that's Gambit and I can't remember who's in third currently.
It's gonna be May.
It's going to be May. Okay.
The Psycho team.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have played against It's going to be May so far this season. And they're pretty strong. And I know, like, Gambit Gaming last season had a really strong showing in Div C. So I expect they'll be ones to reckon with as well.
Yeah, Gambit Gaming wrote me a little note saying, "Could you guys hurry up and lose a game so we can have first place?" And I said, "You're gonna have to take it from us yourself."
Absolutely. Love to hear that sort of inter-division banter. Fantastic.
Pretty confident in our team, especially this season. Like in the past, we've had a few people that could only play a few roles, and this season we have pretty much everybody can kind of flex in different things. Obviously, we have our roles that are stronger for each person, but like as a whole, we can all play, solid, pretty much any of the roles.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Sorry, let me add one more thing.
Please.
Last season we played Varian Stukov was the only thing we could win with, and now it feels like if someone bans our heroes, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody can flex, the amount of flexibility, like flexing roles, means that everybody's hero pool kind of like grows and grows, right? Like I may not play Stukov, but we do have someone who can, and so we can just flex everyone else's roles around. That's a huge boon, and definitely seems to be working out for y'all.
Yeah, and the guys that are on the team now, like most of us have all. I mean, I think Huckett's the newest one, like all of us.
Yeah.
But like everybody else, we've all played together for like 3 or 4 years now, so it's a solid team. I'm confident.
Awesome, awesome. All right, those are all of the questions I have for y'all. Before I let you go back to celebrating with your team, the floor is yours for any shout-outs you want to give.
Shout out to Greek. Come back to Hots, buddy. He's my homie. He quit. But anyways, I want to give a shout out to Huckett. Actually, I give him a bunch of crap all the time because he does spreadsheets and does a lot of research for us and everything versus the other team. So he does a great job of that. He's a good captain.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
Very cool. Anything from you, Huckett?
Is he crying?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate. I forgot to hit the push to talk.
Ah, classic.
I was crying. No, just kidding. But my Aunt Cindy watched the games, and I wanted to give a shout out to her. It was her first game watching.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So thanks, Aunt Cindy, being a fan.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
Maybe
great
we'll-
games tonight, y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks for casting. Bye bye.
Yeah, of course. So there you have it. Another Division B game in the books. A strong showing came from behind, able to take it in a 2-0. Brickhouse definitely coming back alive in the later half of Game 2, getting 14 kills compared to 16 of Came From Behind. So it wasn't completely one-sided series, but unfortunately Came From Behind had given themselves such a lead that it was a little too late. Before I sign off, I'll give some shout-outs of my own. Thank you to everyone for tuning in and watching, and a huge shout-out to all of the artists, musicians, and programmers whose work I use as part of the stream. It wouldn't be possible without everything that they do, and you can check out their work. I've got links below the video, as well as there will be a credit roll at the end here once I sign off. So be sure to check out their work. They're fantastic. Until next time, I've been The Sound. Good luck, have fun, peace, and love.